Hey everybody, it's Sierra. Ben is actually out for the afternoon because he is at work. However, I wanted to hop on here and share an Unsolved Mysteries update with you guys. So, yesterday afternoon, there was some breaking information in a case that was featured on Unsolved Mysteries. We actually haven't covered this one yet. It's the case of Morgan Nick. So I'm going to give you just a quick recap and then some update information on it, since this is something that is going on currently in the world of true crime. 6-year-old Morgan Nick of the Ozarks, was the oldest child of John and Colleen Nick. She was a quiet, shy girl who loved cats and bubblegum. She was a Girl Scout, and according to her mom, she preferred making crafts inside to running outside and getting dirty and sweaty. So on the night of June 9th, 1995, a family friend invited them to a Little League baseball game in Alma, Arkansas. This is about 30 minutes away from their home. Morgan and Colleen decided to go, just the two of them, for a girls' night out. So throughout the evening, Morgan's friends, 2 local girls ages 8 and 10, had also been hanging out with the family. They had been begging Morgan's mom to be able to go over to a nearby field and catch fireflies. At first, Colleen said no. However, if any of you guys have had girls or young kids, or have at one point tried to convince your parents of something that they initially said no to, the girls did not relent. They kept begging and begging to be able to go over there. So finally, against the mom's better judgment, Colleen told Morgan that she could go play as long as she stayed in view where her mom could see her. Initially, Colleen could clearly see Morgan and her friends playing in the field. It was only about 50 yards away. The last time she turned back, Morgan was running back and forth and playing. But when the baseball game ended about 10:45 p.m., her friends returned to the field without her. When Colleen asked where Morgan was, they said that she was over by a car and was getting sand out of her shoes. So Colleen went over to the car and looked around. She looked inside, outside, and actually even looked underneath the car. However, Morgan was nowhere to be found. She knew that Morgan would have not gone anywhere by herself. In fact, there was really nowhere else to go. There was no concession stands or bathrooms. Within a couple of minutes, nearly all of the people at the game had left. It was clear to Colleen that Morgan was not there. As the parking lot began to empty, panic began to overwhelm Colleen. One of the baseball coaches arrived over and asked the friends if they had seen anyone around the baseball field with them. And they described a man that had been hanging around as creepy, and he was trying to talk to them while they were playing in the field. They also remembered seeing a red pickup truck with like a white camper hard shell on top of it, parked nearby and left around the same time that Morgan was last seen. The coach actually had a cell phone at the time. He called 911, and within 6 minutes, law enforcement had arrived and began the search for Morgan. Unfortunately, Morgan was never seen again. So here's your guys' update. There was a man who early on in the investigation was labeled a person of interest. His name was Billy Jack Lynx. He had actually tried to abduct a young girl in Van Buren, about 8 miles from where Morgan was taken. From that moment on, he had been labeled a person of interest. He was serving a sentence in 1996 for sexual indecency with a child, and he actually died in prison at age 75 in the year 2000. So the big breaking news from yesterday was that recent testing of a human hair found in the back of a truck that belonged to the convicted child sex abuser Billy Jack links strongly indicates that Morgan at one time had been in his truck. And of course, his truck was a red beat-up truck with that hardshell camper trailer on it. That is the big breaking news from yesterday, was that DNA testing links this back to this piece of garbage who was obviously a predator. Unfortunately, Morgan's remains have never been found. Hopefully, with eyes back on this case, even though there cannot be a charge brought against somebody who's dead because they technically don't have the right to defend themselves, that maybe we can shake something loose from the tree. Maybe tips will come in about anyone who knew this man who might have an indication on where this sweet baby girl remains were kept, so that at anything that those can be given back to her family, and that they can finally start to maybe close this chapter before they open up their new one. So yeah, that's it, guys. I know this was just a quick one, but with breaking news and unsolved mystery cases, this one was featured on Unsolved Mysteries. It'll probably be a while before Ben and I get to recap it. I still just wanted to get on here and reiterate the importance of keeping these cases relevant and talking about them, because that is one of the ways that these old unsolved mystery and cold cases get solved. So enjoy the rest of your week. Have an amazing weekend, and we will be back with you on Tuesday, where Ben and I recap one of the original gateway drugs into true crime, Unsolved Mysteries.